Good morning, y'all. Make sure I don't get into the sprinklers here. Got here yesterday a little early. Helped setting up Grumpy Acres booth for the festival here down here in Oklahoma at the Okie Homesteaders Expo. So we'll get over there to the venue and meet some more folks. I've already met a few folks here at the hotel at breakfast, but we'll try and cover this weekend as much as I can and do some interviews and let you meet some new folks. But I think the weather's gonna be good and hot, probably humid, so we'll have to remember to hydrate. But come on, let's check it out. That's Pryor, Oklahoma, Okie Homestead Expo, put on by Keeping It Dutch and Hidden Heights Farm. So let's go. Alright, made it over to the venue, the Okie Homesteading Fest or Expo. Let's go walk through and see what we can see. They're still setting up, and obviously you see some more of the antique tractors coming in. So let's go check it out. Diesel. Craig Shore, if you're watching, yeah, you see some old Olivers. I know that's your tractor of choice. Oh, that's gorgeous. Yeah, maybe someday we'll restore one. I'm too close. There we go. 730 diesels. New case. Another old Oliver. Of course, they got more room for more. Like I said, we're still setting up, people still coming in. This is the first day, so looks like it'll get better. Vendors and dealers. Hi. Morning. Yeah, like I said, there's still open spots here.
As you're putting them in, you just have to reach over and bridge.
Bull calves and trying to drink or grass feed them, but throwing like alfalfa on them. I know it's a lagoon, but people consider it grass fed. Yeah, I mean, it works. Yeah, I don't well, it's hard. Look. Yeah, good deal.
Doing good? So far, anyway, the heat's coming.
Like good quality wood.
So this is it. This is the morel guy.
That's what they're supposed to look like. It's been a couple years since I picked one.
Oh, and wine toppers. Look at that. So where are you out of again?
I'm out of Patton, Missouri. It's east of Columbia, Missouri.
Okay. Just does a little carving.
There's kind of a blanket house started up by fish and stuff.
Oh yeah. See guys, you can do just pick your passion and start doing it.
Now if you're a Jurassic Park fan, I made it.
Oh, look at there. Anybody that knows Jurassic Park, the Ember, John Hammond cane. Very cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I've only been carving 3 years.
Really?
Yeah, I started carving. I said, well, I'm just natural, dude. I don't have to
Yeah.
push myself. Now, I had my helper there, Chippy.
Chippy.
He's my helper. He's only been with me about 3 months.
Carves vases.
Now, the twig pot's what they're called.
Oh, okay.
They're dry flowers or artificial flowers. We got these tea lights here, electric tea lights.
Oh yeah. Drop right in. And honey drippers. Jar toppers. Well, very cool.
Thank you.
Look this gentleman up. What you guys doing, huh? What you guys doing, Goaty? Huh? You can see there's a big venue. Doing all right, staying cool.
So we started our company 10 years ago, and then 3 years ago,
Off the pond.
It's pancake, once it's frozen, it's frozen. So my problem is I don't want it to freeze. And here, you want to get it broken down as fast as possible to get the body temperature down to cool up meat to make good wholesome meat. We're doing seminars all around the country. We found that we used to do a lot of cooking demonstrations, and then people would say, well, what about this? We found out that most people didn't have quality meat at their cutting board. And if you don't have quality meat at the cutting board, you really can't fix it after that. So you got to have good quality meat from the field to the cutting board. The next one is shot placement, because you want to have good shot placement, because if you shoot it right here, or right here, you're going to hurt something that's not meat right there. So shot placement is really important. And of course, you want to use that. So when you're going to take a high off, that's how you'll get the body.
So I know you can sell it. You just have to find those people that are wanting to support you. So just go into it knowing that. Don't sell yourself short. Don't grow your product or whatever and then price it at Walmart or Kroger's price, because you don't have the connections they do. You don't have the connections to buy the cheap feed that they do. You're not growing things out the same way they are. You have a superior product just by the fact that you're raising and what you're pouring into it. So don't sell yourself short, because your product is worth more than it. And not only are you selling yourself short, you're going to do that. You're selling that.
Are you staying cool? Are you staying cool?
We are. We've got a little fan back here. And
Right
that fan,
on.
that one was on higher last night, but it's moving the air and everything's good.
Yeah, for no breeze, they move a lot of air. Yeah, moving like that one will.
It's a good
Cool.
day. Going to be a great day.
Oh yeah.
Everybody seems like they're happy and ready to go.
So you're with who?
I am Carrie's Crafts and Creations out of Cassville, Missouri.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, we're at the Okie Homesteading Expo, and I'm here with Tiffany. I'm gonna have her give us a rundown of kind of what she's got going on here in a mobile processing unit. You can do rabbits, chickens, all the way up to beef, right?
I can't do poultry on the unit, but
Okay.
I can technically do rabbits. I can do beef, pork, lamb, and goat. Those
Okay.
are the most popular.
Okay. We'll just walk through and see what she's got going on. I know she's got some roof mount air conditioners. So this is like a full-on butcher shop on wheels. And I'll let her explain some of the highlights of that. And if you want to do it commercially, she has to go through the USDA hoops to do that. But let's get going here. So I guess we start at the front.
I would start at the back, actually.
Okay.
The process starts
That's
back
where you
here.
start when you do your processing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so we've got a drop ramp, and I see you have the crane.
We do. Yeah.
What?
So we skin and gut on the outside, and then from there it comes on the rail.
Okay.
And that animal comes in here. We quarter off cattle, have the pigs, and from here it's just regular butcher shop. We're cutting, grinding, packaging as we go, vacuum sealing all of your meat, and the best part is it's all completely transparent. You know you got your meat, you know you got all of your meat. If you have any special requests, we're here to take care of all of those.
Okay, cool. Well, I guess the big question is what brought you to thinking up that I need to put a butcher shop on wheels?
That's actually a really long story.
Oh, maybe we better not get into it.
Yeah, it's a long story. Essentially, I started in poultry almost 10 years ago. I used to butcher about 300 every few months and sell the meat. And we had some conflicts, and I was originally going to do a mobile poultry processing unit. because I was also butchering. I'd opened it up to some public. And we had a competitor that tried to shut down all of the poultry producers in Oklahoma.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So I thought, well, if you can't beat them, join them. But then, run the numbers and poultry really didn't make sense for me at that time. I do know there's one opening now in Oklahoma. So I said, well, let's go all the way. If we're going to do it, we're going to go all the way. And so that's how we ended up here.
Cool. What's the name of the business again?
Backyard Butchery.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. I'll
Absolutely.
look her up.
Yeah, I'm on all the social medias, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and I have a website, backyardbutchery.com.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Someone say, what'd you get? Well, I don't know. So for resale, it would be better for breed. So, all right, 10:30 on the dot. Okay, so this is rabbit processing presented by Craig Family. Bella has been breeding, selling, and processing meat rabbits for the past several years. Through this small business, she has been able to educate people who are just beginning their journey on raising rabbits for meat. At 16 years old, Bella is the oldest of the 10 children. They share their life through their YouTube channel. I believe it's called Jason and Julie. They recently changed it up, so I want to make sure you guys find that. You have YouTube, Instagram, you have Facebook. Okay, so you can find them on all those things. So we're going to turn it over to them.
All right, good morning, everybody. How are you? Good. Hey, a few things I just wanted to mention before we get into our story. I just wanted to see somebody like ask you, or anybody that you know has a part of putting this thing on. This is his second year, is that right? Okay, so 2 years, and this thing is looking really good. Okay, let them know that, because it's hard work. I know it's maybe easier for us to come in and point out some things we'd like to see otherwise, but it's real hard to put this sort of thing on, especially if you're trying to do it from the ground up. All right, so I think they're doing a great job, and again, who doesn't like praise, right? So, with that being said, so my name is Jason. This is Bella. She is my oldest daughter, and we lived in the city for about 12 years. Before we actually got out to the country. We bought a foreclosed property. It was an abandoned small hobby farm, and we used it to follow her when we got it, not now, but when we bought it. And so we had a little bit of a challenge to spawn the other side here. So we basically had to retain what we had purchased and reclaim it. Abandoned little farmhouse on there, and we've been pouring our heart and soul into it. But along the way, we did get some animals, and we got some chickens to begin with. And we were here yesterday, we got the long drawn out versions, so we're not going to go into that today. But essentially, she had me interest in some rabbits. And growing up, my parents and grandparents on both sides did rabbit hunting. That was the thing I was, as a kid, before I could shoot, I was the beagle. Okay, so that was a fun memory of mine. There's a brush pile, go kick them up, Jason. So I ran over there and kicked them up, and of course, they shoot them up, and I get to kick them up. So it was great deal. Nothing more fun for a boy to go out there, run, make noise, and hit things with sticks. Good stuff. And so reflect on it. So growing up and trying to recognize that these things that I had were better than I realized and understood. You know, being intentional as a parent was something my wife and I knew we wanted, even though we didn't necessarily know what our intentions needed to be or what we wanted them to be. So, of course, we pride a lot of our advances on our faith in the sense that God gave us an understanding and a knowledge and even the ability to see things that are greater than. That's why we have it on the ground. We've had it waist high, we've had it up higher. We prefer this so far.
Yeah, it's a little easier to get that pull. All right.
Okay, here we go. Okay. So you see that I lost control, right? So what did I do? I brought her into my legs. I'm wearing pants that are, well, thick enough. They're not shorts. Let's just say that, okay? So now I've got to somehow get hold of her front paws again. Hey, it's okay to stop, pause, and start over, all right? Remember, you're the one controlling this. You're not doing it as a presentation, so just slow it down. Do what you need to do. Get comfortable. Gain composure again. Watch a video. We've done that before. We're like, okay, that wasn't awesome. You know, let's do this. We've had it in the rack before. We were like, wait a minute. So what's the cleanest, best way to get around this situation? Fastest way, yes. Yep. Okay. So I like to have the ears. I like to have the ears on the outside and up there. Now this is it right here. It's done, okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stand up. I'm going to grab both legs. I'm going to give a pull. Okay, that was another thing that you can do is you can come up. You can see her head is floppy. And if you wanted to, you could grab the front part of the body and you could touch the eyeball. If she will let you touch the eyeball and not pull her head back or away, it's done, okay? Like I said, lots of life left. So right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and tuck. This is honestly a little bit awkward. I have to, because I've done it the last couple of days, because we've done it the last couple of days, I'm a whole lot more familiar with how to do this and how to tuck it in. But basically, you go in through here, and then you got it just like that. And you want to bring, if you know the makeup of the bone structure of their back paw, back leg, if you will, this is coming right to that crevice or V, and that's what's holding it. It's not really this. This tucks it in and locks it, okay? But ultimately, it's happening right there. Okay, so I want to hurry up and do this.
Another thing is we have in the past had it happen where they're not.
I want to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm pulling the neck fur right here. Now, I have a fair amount of command of the knife. If you're not familiar with this, be careful, okay? So we're working with really sharp knives. So I'm coming here, I'm pulling the skin away from the body, and I have the slack. I'm going to puncture through and cut down, and then I come back and I sweep and try to catch that aorta. All right, somebody who knows anything about bodies, please let me know what it is. Is it aorta, right? Yeah. Carotid. Okay, there you go. Thank you. Again, not a professional, just a survivor. That's all.
And the reason we are bleeding the rabbit out is less blood in the meat.
So there's all different ways, if you want to bring this to cuisine level, that you could do this better, okay? But we're in more of a like feed a large family survivor mode here, okay? And so one of the things that we've noticed is that when we bleed out the neck here, there's less blood clotting in that neck muscle, and I personally like that neck muscle. There's an old saying, closer to the bone, sweeter the meat. I personally like that, especially if we've like slow cooked or crock potted it. It's really, really good meat. And so lately, because of speed and what we were doing is that we're feeding them to the dogs. We also like to feed our dogs really good meat. So they don't care about blood clots. As a matter of fact, they like it quite a bit. And so depending on what we're trying to do, that's why we're doing it. All right. You want to do that? All right.
Yeah, we are going to keep the hide on this one because I have a brother at home that said, that's my rabbit, keep the hide. So he's going to be tanning it. So we are taking it home. And that's why we're taking the head completely off on this one.
Okay, one thing I want to note too is that because I'm not a professional butcher, I don't always know where the separation of the anatomy is. And so I ultimately then have a backup knife. And so what I'm probably going to do is come in contact with the bone and dull my knife. I can get through 6, 8, 10 rabbits on one good sharpening here. So I'm not really worried about it. But again, it's just like what's really important. If you want to be that, precise person, figure it out. Okay, slow it down, find it, do it. But again, I'm kind of rough. I'm more of a shotgun than a rifle in this situation, if you understand what I'm. All right. So again, pull up the skin here and get underneath here. Otherwise, that hide will take a lot of abuse from the knife and slow you down because it's loose and moving. Not so much that the knife's dull or that it's that really strong. Anything, if you can't get a good mate surface area on there, you're gonna basically not gonna get very far. Okay, so I'm gonna get underneath there, and then I'm gonna grab the ears at this point in time and cut through.
If for whatever reason the bone did not break perfectly in the back of the neck, which the goal is to break that neck bone. Sometimes you can cut straight through with a knife. Sometimes because of where it broke, you can't. So we are using a good old-fashioned prunes. We have yet to buy a good one, but we're like last minute we need one. So
it's really good. It's good quality steel here. It's an insert. It's not cast. So they made them like this. You go to a flea market, you find something like that. You want to look down, make sure you don't see too much daylight. Ultimately, you're cutting bones, not flesh. So it's really not a big deal. Took it apart. There's a scissors feature on that.
Yeah, we did sharpen it beforehand, so it's a little easier to cut.
Get in there, get where you're going. And I'm only cutting through the bone, okay? When I hear the crunch, I'm done. You can try to cut through the flesh, but again, because it's squishing around, you're not really getting a good cut. So I'll go back to the knife. Again.
Yeah, the reason we like to use that is because we don't really want to have to stop, switch knives, or stop and sharpen a knife, so that avoids the knife on bone situation. So you just always have a clean knife, and it just goes easier with a really sharp, clean knife.
Okay, I think I look really cool with a towel back here. Makes it look like I know what I'm doing, and so that's why it's there. No, actually, it's to wipe my utensils and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, we try to dip and wipe a lot because we want to not have hair on the meat, and that's avoid a lot of cleaning.
Okay, it's going to happen. I'm going to get fur on there, okay, because I'm probably shaking because I'm nervous about explaining things to people, and I'm like, oh, there's somebody out there that knows more than me, and they're going to be, critiquing me. It's going to happen, but it comes off a whole lot easier, I think, than the chickens and whatnot, because you're leaving the skin on versus skinning it. So same principle, same purpose, right here. I'm not moving. I'm over here. You're over there. I didn't want to be on the same side as you. So you pinch this, and what I'm doing is I'm puncturing again the skin, and I'm going to do it as close to this little V thing as you can, because what I'm going to do is pull the hide down at that point in time. And honestly, starting it is like the most difficult thing to do. And on a deer or a cow or a pig, I like to cut because it's easier to see. With all the fluff here, it's really hard to tell when you get through that skin. And so, and that was actually a trick that I had learned from one of our homesteading mentors, Rich. And, he pinched the skin, poked through, and I was like, that's so smart. You know what I mean? And you do this enough, you do it with other people, you start to learn those little tricks that help you and make your talents just that much more usable.
Yeah, so also we're just trying to avoid cutting into the meat. I know he's going to try to step aside after he explains, or before he explains, and then he's going to have to get in the way because it's a little awkward to butcher on the side, if you know. So, the reason we are starting here is because when we're all done gutting and skinning the rabbit, we're going to cut those top hind legs off. So the higher you can get, the more meat you have, essentially.
Good. So what I like to do at this point in time, I don't know, I've seen these videos where these guys skin these things in like 30 seconds. It's amazing. I mean, guts and all ready to go. And I'm just like, wow, I'm just not that guy. Okay, it's cool. I learned some things from them, but ultimately, I kind of like what I'm doing here. I don't know, call me sick. I just like it. I don't know. Making food for my family, it makes it real. I have a somewhat of a desk job otherwise, and so it kind of keeps me grounded. Okay, so what I like to do though is come in again, picking up the skin, getting underneath here, and I'm trying to be far back. I'm gonna end up cutting myself. So I want to be aware of the tip because the tip's doing the work right now, and you see how it's kind of like tapered right there. So what it's doing is it's going in a tight where the skin and the meat's real tight together, and it's going to separate that, and it's going to give me a path, if you will, down to the crotch or the genital area down here.
Yeah, and so we're just going to try not to cut into the meat. Don't worry if your first rabbit that you do looks like it got hacked, because it's still edible. If you are selling the meat, you're going to want to avoid that because people like nice, clean meat. But it's still edible. Just don't be afraid to take some time.
Okay, so what I did is I made my cut. I could see it separated. It flops open pretty easy when you get there. And again, now what I'm doing is pulling down. And because this is a young rabbit, this job is easy. Okay, relatively easy. What he just turned 8.
my 8-year-old, who is not necessarily, I was a scrawny boy growing up, and he kind of is too. And so he's over there, he's like, hey, can I pull the hide off? And so on the younger rabbits, this is easy work for them. Okay, so that once you get it clear and ready to go, you get it down to this point, they come through and they pull the hides. And then right now they're all about it. They're homeschool kids, right? So they get fixed on one thing and then that's all they're doing. So they're tanning hides like crazy right now. And like I said, we promised that one over there. We're blessing that one to somebody else. All right.
Yeah, so definitely the age, like we were talking about, makes a huge difference when you're skinning them. So just try to stay 5 months and under. The ideal age is 3 to 4 months. But, sometimes our schedule says we can't do it this week.
And that's life, right? Like you plan for perfection and settle for less. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, yeah, I have intentions of raising my kids perfectly, and it's like, well, sorry guys, I did my best.
But the thing that's nice about these rabbits and meat rabbits in general, is that you don't have to butcher whenever they're ready to butcher. If your life just got all of a sudden hectic, you can wait 6 months to butcher. Just know it's going to be a little harder. We haven't really found a big difference in taste. The only thing is that if they're like 2 or 3 years and older, it's a little bit tougher, and you just know that you're going to have to cook that one a little bit longer or slow cook it. But if your life just got busy, don't stress about getting them butchered on time like your Cornish hens that have to be butchered on time. These guys can wait. So, yeah, don't worry about getting it on time. Yeah, so we actually are trying to downsize our rabbits right now because, we might be moving, we might not be. So we're trying to downsize, and we ended up butchering an extra female breeding rabbit that we didn't need. And she was 3 years old, and we actually didn't have any trouble doing her.
It was easy.
Yeah, disclosure that they are, they do. This is not the full-grown size. This rabbit, I'm guessing, is probably 6 pounds. I tried to weigh them before I came, but they kind of all got mixed up. So I'm guessing about 6 pounds, but she was, the full size is 10 to 12 pounds. So, yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay. So what I want to do at this point in time, this is a female, and so there's really not much difference in dealing with the genitals with a male or a female rabbit. But just to kind of let you know, is it female, is it male? If you have the question, this is a female, and so what I'm doing again, I'm pulling the skin up and I'm making the pierce through there. Okay, and so like this point, I got a chance. It's about technique. What do I want to do? I'm just going to cut through so that I could then peel back. Okay, watch your arm.
Yeah, and we actually just came up with this. It's a PVC pipes that we sprayed, and we're like, it would be sweet to have a little knife holder here, so that's what that is, if you're wondering.
Okay, so then this is the moment of truth, if you will. You got to deal with both the colon and the bladder. Okay, and so what I like to do with the male, this is where part of the, if I understand it correctly, feel free to correct me later. This is where the genitals actually exit the body and then come back to the actual spot where the business happens. But what I like to do is separate it. There's no real benefit that I've noticed for trying to keep it all intact right here. We'll talk about a little bit more in the back because there is a pelvic bone, like all the other animals that I butchered anyway. The ones that we had mentioned earlier, where there's a hollow channel and all that, the colon, the bladder, go through that pelvic bone. And so what I like to do, just like our larger animals, is stay off center. If you go to the center with your knife, you just made a mess. If you stay off center, and I'm toying around with using the pruners to get in there and just clip that bone. And then one of the things I do is because I've got a fair amount of upper body strength here, that I can come up here and I can, because they're younger, I can break that pelvic bone and it pops out of the skin. And so that's a quick thing. So if you're doing it young, you have that option. If they're older, that mother, I tried to do it and I was like, couldn't do it. I had to get in there with the pruners and get the job done. All right. So ultimately what I'm doing here, I could be pulling this too. Just watch my knife belt because I'm not watching it. And you all know about the really good to have a hose. We have a bucket. I'm gonna go ahead and switch sides here so that you guys are tired of looking at my back.
Yeah, so just try to be careful not to puncture the guts because we want to keep the mess down to a minimal. So we actually feed all of it to the pigs. So if you don't have pigs, chickens will eat all the guts and meat, but they won't touch things like the paws, the head, and the carcass.
Right.
So yeah, the hide, that's what I meant. But so we actually feed it all to the pigs and they eat everything. So that's why we just get a bucket and then they're happy on butcher day.
Okay, again, there are lots of things that we underutilize in the rabbit, so, you know, livers and whatnot. I'm sure there's some really, like, we're notorious in the United States for not eating the whole animal, okay? And I'm kind of against that idea, and I'm slow to get into the know, if you will, about how and what to do. We've recently started grinding our beef with the organ meats and turn it into primal, okay? It's a whole lot more enjoyable to have liver when it's mixed with, like, 80% ground beef, okay? So you could probably do the same. If, you know, I talked to the gentleman earlier, he was making sausage out of the whole thing, and he's, you know, he's deboning it and going through that. You could throw that in there. That'd be a great addition. We have livestock guardian dogs plus a poodle. He's a full-size.
Well, there you go, folks. Another expo in the books. Okie Homesteading Expo, Pryor, Oklahoma. I just kind of cruised through, and as I was talking to people and meeting people, we just did some video, but I just didn't do the interview part of it. Did do some classes, real informative, but overall it was a good crowd and a whole lot of YouTubers. So definitely next year is going to be a return trip for us, and possibly for Grumpy Acres also. Again, thanks to Dutch and Kevin for putting this on, and it's only going to get bigger. So if you like what we do, subscribe to the channel, hit that like bell, the like button, and then the bell for the notifications. But stay tuned for next time, and most of all, go live that life done free. Thanks, guys.